Seminary was instrumental in founding, along with Reverend Randy Jones, Urban Theological Institute here at Lutheran. Prior to coming to Lutheran, we had like a test run of the interest in the Afro-American churches, in which for 1 year we used the facilities of Philadelphia Christian Academy. And we were convinced in that 1 year the need for theological education was needed in order to train ministers from various denominations. And we went around to different seminaries, and they might have been too radical, I guess, in some cases, because of their tradition or their preference of their own denominational needs to train their own people. It was my surprise that when we began talking, just dialogue with the administration at Lutheran, there was an openness for the Institute. And many breakfasts, community ministers, along with Dr. Jeremiah Wright Sr., the Grace Baptist Church, who was an Afro-American, I think, first graduate from the seminary. And he participated in the discussions. And that went on for about a year or so. And with some tension. But we ironed things out and began to discuss the requirements to be admitted to the program. And from there on, classes start increasing and increasing at night. The attraction was that we did not insist that they had to leave their jobs, and this was the holdup. And some of these ministers were doing well, but they knew they needed to be trained. And so the seminary made accommodations for night classes and Saturday mornings to accommodate their schedules in order that they could continue pastoring, but also pick up a fully accredited program. I was, and along with Dr. Jones, disturbed that they were taking our Bible institutes that didn't have too much credibility in terms of academic standards. And it was a real thrust for honorary degrees and situations. And then some schools I really felt was possibly fraudulent. And we were very disturbed over that. But coming here, we didn't know too much about the Lutherans, but through a year or so dialogue back and forth, we really felt that we had a marriage and a relationship of the needs of the seminary in terms of serving the entire community. And that's been going on 35 years plus. And it's been very successful. I know over 135 students graduated from the Afro-American community churches from this program, and some have continued with graduate study and earned doctorates from some of the most prestigious universities. The outgrowth of preaching with power has really put, I think, Lutheran on the map from an Afro-American perspective, because they knew absolutely nothing about this campus, and they just passed by, and we used to have a little sense of humor about this best-kept secret, you know. I didn't know much about it when I finished high school. There was a Reformed Episcopal seminary in Philly that would let you start your studies, but only on a certificate program. Philadelphia College of the Bible at that time as well. But the highlights is to see a dream come true. And especially with the critics that said it won't work. Now, the background of it is that I thought, without knowing anything about Lutheran, I thought, like a church, I thought I had to start from scratch in terms of going to Harrisburg and seeing what requirements are to start an institution. What held us up, they didn't understand why we didn't have $500,000 to start the endowment. So I got a letter from Department of Education to cease, because I told you we had a year experimenting. We also tried New York Seminary, who came down, the dean came down, but we just thought it was all over until we came on this campus, and to, after all of those discussions, to see it grow and still alive. And that's my basic highlights. And then also, I probably wouldn't have earned my doctor of ministry because I was banking on UTI as part of the structure and ordination committee to finish my project. But it's been a journey, but a good one. I think she was cordial and open, but we had a lot of questions to answer, and rightfully so. And they wanted to see how, well, I think it was it was surprising. I think it was surprising to the faculty, were there enough students out there interested in going to seminary, and particularly not of your own denomination or race. But I said, yes, they'd be willing to if the door is open for them. And so once we got over that, we start advertising, and now, to their surprise, calls start coming in, and we're still here today.
In 1987, I felt the call to ministry and decided I was going to come to seminary. I could not do this as most folk do, and as I had already done in all of my education, that is, go full-time, because I had too many hats going on, wearing too many hats at that time. And so I was accepted at Lutheran and sort of took it one course here, two courses there, and eventually in 1996 I received the MDiv. Not everybody could have done that. To move from being at the front of the class and managing a faculty, it humbled me quite a bit. Of course, there were some issues going on with me because I was coming out of a church that did not believe in female preachers. So I started out really applying to the MAR program. I could not even use the word preacher or preaching because of the attitude that existed towards women in that field. And I never will forget, my first class was with Dr. George Thompson, and he was teaching systematic theology. We started on a Saturday morning. And I never will forget feeling trepidation about even walking into that class because I could look through the window and see it was filled with men. So, but I went on in, and soon there were a couple of females who joined the class. And it turned out to be a wonderful class. Dr. Thompson was very accepting. We were colleagues. We were not just professor-student. We were colleagues because we were both college professors. And sometimes it would get very embarrassing when some students had problems with putting their essays together, and he would say to them, they're my colleagues too, but he would always address me as Dr. Willis. You should consult with her to get your writing together. Of course, I wasn't there to do that, but I think he was trying to put a little something in there for them to think. Why not utilize, someone who is your colleague student? I would say, when I look back at UTI, those were some of the richest moments, the way UTI was conducted at that time. The classes were relatively filled. The good thing was that the daytime professors from Lutheran taught in the program. They treated us no different than they would treat students in the day program. I got to know, a lot of them. That's why I was remembering Dr. Borneman, yes, and in Old Testament, and the wonderful times we had in those classes, and also Dr. Ruman, who was known for bringing tons of books to class. He never came to class without a stack of books. And one of the things that was so exciting in that class was the concentration on the lives of Jesus Christ as perceived by the world. People have different pictures of who Jesus is. An excellent teacher. The faculty was just absolutely wonderful. Those faculty persons that you encounter that make an impression on you, you take them with you. Dr. Madison was a wonderful instructor, and Dr. Robinson. Just a whole lot of people that came and gave to that program, and they did not water it down at all. And I appreciated that. Some folk did not understand it, who were not in the program, had not been in the program, and wanted to make it appear that the degree gotten out of UTI was not as good as the one that students were getting from the day school, when in reality we were all getting the same degree. The debates in those classes were wonderful, and I became rather self-confident because I remember many discussions that we got into, and we debated the men who still needed deliverance from their chauvinistic way of thinking. And I will say that I was one of those leading discussants on that issue. We wanted them saved. Don't know that they all were. But that was just a marvelous program, and I'm glad that I went through it. And I might also add that I never, ever dreamed prior to the feel of a call in '87 that I would be in ministry and be a minister of the gospel of Jesus Christ. In 1988, under the leadership of Bishop O.T. Jones, Jr., who was the chief prelate for the Commonwealth jurisdiction of the Church of God in Christ, began ordaining women as chaplains. And so in September of 1988, I was ordained as a chaplain in the Church of God in Christ. That is another little scenario that is still going on. I'm presently writing a book. It's going to be published sometime later in the earlier part of this year, and I devote a chapter to the call and the controversy surrounding it. In the African American tradition, most times there isn't that kind of exposure.
That's right.
You may go to another black church or African American church, which is of a different denomination, but you don't traditionally go outside of that boundary. So if you have people in the class who are from the non-traditional sites or communities of faith that you would attend when you're not at your own church, that was the only place that you would get to know them. And I found that most times, in most cases, there was a cordiality in those classes that was really wonderful. You know, the classes became little families, and we were very supportive of each other. I remember one of the students in the class, for one of the professors, I don't know if it was Dr. Thompson or not, but she literally took the minutes of the class and distributed them to other students, you know, because everybody can't do notes very well, but she would do that. It was really a sort of a family setup in those classes. You got to know people. You debated in and outside of the class. I was just telling my husband as we drove up and we passed the Wawa, you know, that was a major piece. You know, many times in those 3-hour classes at night and on Saturday, you couldn't wait for a break just to get out and go across the street, get something to wake you up a little bit, some coffee or something, and then get back to it on those days and Saturdays. And, you know, we sometimes traveled together for that little trip, too. But, yeah, that was a wonderful occasion for me.